Aloha and welcome to my backyard garden. It is February 15th of 2018 and it's winter time. Here we are in the morning and you can see things are a little bit shaded, nice and mellow with the birds chirping. You can see the plumeria tree on the left and some of my winter greens there on the bottom. And you can see how my garden only gets a couple hours of sunlight every day. You're looking at between 3 to 5 depending on the area in the garden. Little sticks of plumeria there, couple different colors, and I'm going to graft onto the tree above. Then here you can see the winter greens. Got some bok choy, some carrots mixed in, some chard, a couple of different varieties of basil. There's also some tatsoi in there, which is similar to bok choy. And over here in this big square, I've got to still pull all the soil out and replank the bottom over because of the tree roots coming in. And then replenish that bed for pumpkins. On this trellis here, with the buckets, well, you can see what I'm going to do with the pumpkins is I'm hoping to create another trellis that'll bring them up into the bougainvillea above, and then they'll be able to create an arch and go up into the tree. So here is this long variety of the Korean squash. So it's kind of like a zucchini, but it grows on a vine up the trellis. And then over here I've got some peppers. These are some little mini Thai peppers and some Hawaiian nioi chilies, very similar to each other. Great for stir fries and chili pepper water. And in this bed, here we have the avocado squash. It's the other variety of Korean squash. These are round. And this plant is done. I need to rip it out. Here's the variety, as you can see on the seed package, called Early Bulam. This is a hybrid, so the seed don't always reproduce true to the variety. So I grew one out. I want to see what it's like. You can see it here. And then, of course, I'm drying all the seeds out. So they're all out on a napkin here. And then I'll replant them in that bin. And then we'll see what those look like that are a non-hybrid variety, because then I can save the seed. We'll go from there. Got an early girl tomato here going up the string arch. Gonna trellis that over the rails on the deck there. Got a cherry tomato in that bucket, so I'll have two different kinds of tomatoes. And then underneath the deck there is where I store all of my yard goodies. So there's the trellis, a little bit of sun that I'm going to use on that bit of the rail on the deck there. And here you can see how the clips are done. Very simple. There's a little string that comes down. I just tie it onto the deck. And the little plastic clips have a little spot in the beginning, kind of an arm pit, if you will. And so that little part you want to get around the string, and then you just simply clip it together, and it'll hold your plant up. So again, get it right around the string, clip it together, and then it'll hold your plant up. So with strings and these little clips, you can trellis tomatoes straight up, all around, and you can trellis all kinds of other plants as well. So a little bit hard to do with one hand here while I'm filming, but I'll try and give you the idea again. It goes right on the little string there, and then you clip it together, and that's how it works, and then it secures your tomato plant. And so you keep doing that as it grows up, and then you take some suckers and then take those off to the right or the left, depending on the area you want to cover. Here you can see my cucumber beds that are all empty right now because I need to replant. And this giant cherry tomato is also covered with this white mold that has really been a scourge this year. It's just taken over. We've had so much rain, it's been really wet. And here you can just see it covering everything. I haven't pulled the plant out yet because it does still have quite a few tomatoes on it, as you can see. Nice clusters. So as soon as I consume all of these, then I can go ahead and pull this plant out. And then I can recondition these beds and get them going for our next round of cucumbers. So I've grown several varieties of cucumbers at this point, including the market more and some miniature varieties that I started with. At this point, I'm really into the Japanese varieties of cucumbers. They're thinner. They don't have so much of a seed cavity. You don't have to peel them. And I've found a variety that is very resistant to the frost. Here we have our cantaloupe on the trellis. This is the Chantilly melon. You can see, even though the leaves are mildewy and quite beaten up, we've got a few fruit that are setting. So I'm still tolerating this plant here. I could pull it out and start anew, as we're almost into springtime here on the island of Kauai. But we got a few fruits, so let's see what it does. The tomatoes are just now getting tall enough out of the little pocket bed that I put in here that they're starting to reach the sun, and they'll really start taking off, so that's good. This is an early girl variety. I had a couple of heirloom varieties there before, and they got diseases right away because they had no disease resistant, whereas this one has a lot of resistance. Back side of the avocado squash, not much going on there. It needs to come out. Been having a little bit of a problem up here on the buckets as well. These are some of the summer dance Japanese cucumbers, and I got some seedlings going because I'm going to replant the buckets. The squash have just been dying, too much rain, can't take it even in the buckets. The green beans have got the white mildew all over them. I've gotten a few beans, been good. Have been enjoying stir frying those up a bit. The long beans are fantastic. All you need is a few of those and you got yourself a nice stir fry. Some chili peppers from the garden as well. So I'm going to replant those. Got to recondition all the soil in the buckets. All the cucumbers up here, I tried 5 different varieties, and they all died except for one type, and that's the summer dance. So there's another early girl tomato, better boy tomato. It's got some white mildew on the leaves. Need to get out here again with the baking soda spray and take care of that. It's winter time. Trying to grow summer plants here in the winter is a bit much, but why not? So here you can see from the Kitazawa Seed Company, we have the summer dance variety. It's highly resistant to both white and powdery mildew, or powdery and downy mildew. Anyways, it's very resistant. You can see the size of the cucumbers, about 1 inch thick, maybe 10 inches long, very thin skin, small seed cavity, delicious. Really enjoy this variety. Got another one that's about 2 foot long, but very similar, called the Yamato Senjaku. And that one, I'll try growing again in the summertime. It did work out. So let's take a look at the compost pile back here. So you can see the yard's taking quite a bit of beating from the rain. Little pile of plumeria sticks that I'm saving for another project. I'll fill you out on that later. So I used the 3-bin system. These are made with pallets and chicken wire. And so I've got 3 bins going. That's the newest one there on the right. In the middle is the finished compost. I've got a little mat over it so that I can control the moisture levels. And then on the left is the older of the 2 active piles. Got a little thermometer in it so you can see what the temperature is. So here it is with the tarp off. You can see it. So the middle pile does need some sorting, some sifting. I've got a sifting box for that. But over here you can see I got the thermometer in there. So it's reasonably active. This pile is about a month old at this point. So it's no longer in the red zone, but it's still cooking pretty good. About 3 foot high, 3 foot around. So here's another close-up look at this pile here. So send this through the sifter and you got nice soil. And of course anything that sifts out goes on to the next pile, this one here. So both of these piles I'm putting my kitchen scraps in, even though they're built up. I'm throwing everything in the blender first to grind it down with some water. And then mix that slurry into the pile. So now it's time to get all of these beds cleared out, reconditioned, and replanted. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Aloha!